You talking rivalries. I need bloodshed. I need anger. I need vitriol. I need animosity.
Who's ranked, who's real, who's built to last, who got exposed, who's moving fast. From the HBCU pride to the Power 5, let's we talk football every week, every night. Fans in the stands, drums on go. Lights on bright and the crowd moves slow. Big hits, ball picks, everybody knows. Daniel Roundtree got the football show.
Ahoy! I'm Daniel Roundtree. This is the Daniel Roundtree College Football Show. Hey, you're back. I'm back. It is a new day, and that means it is a good day to talk college football. I appreciate you being here. And you know, if you're here and you haven't subscribed yet, I need you to do me that favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Consider liking this video because we got a great one for you today. We are talking biggest and baddest college football rivalries. Listen, when you think rivalries, there's so many great teams, but ranking the rivalries that have had the most success and the rivalries that people are going to watch no matter what. And that includes the bad years, the good years. There's a few teams that absolutely stick out. And my favorite thing about rivalries is exactly that. It doesn't matter the record in regards to how good the teams are that year. It's always better though. Let's keep it a stat. It's always better when both teams are really good. But a true rivalry stands the test of time if it's a huge game, no matter what the record is, no matter where they're playing. When they're lining it up against each other, that game is going to be all out. It's like big brother, little brother, sibling rivalry. Nothing gets better than rivalry games. So I'm going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste y'all time. Today, we are talking the top 5 biggest rivalries in college football that have stood the test of time. We're only going to have one honorable mention, so let's get right into it. At the honorable mention spot, listen, this game is near and dear to my heart. I feel like it's a game I've watched no matter what, and these teams most of the time are hardly ever ranked high. They might be ranked, but they're in that bottom half, 20 to 25 in most cases. We're talking Army-Navy. So Army and Navy have played against each other 126 times. Since 1890, the 1800s, that's crazy. That's crazy to even think about that football was even going on. Back then, I guarantee it was probably no pads. If so, they had the leather helmets, no face masks. I can't imagine the fights in the game and after the game. But if you're American, listen, if you're from the beautiful USA, you gotta watch this game. Army-Navy has been a staple since my childhood. It's always been a fun game to watch. Both teams run the wing T offense where it's going to be blood nose run all game. They're going to maybe have 4 or 5 passes between both teams in the whole game. Since 1890, when they first started playing way back in the day, Navy leads the series. So the series is set at 64, 55, and 7 ties. They got rid of tiebreakers in football, I think in like the 1940s or 30s, something like that. Navy has kind of dominated this series a little bit. So Navy had 14 straight victories from 2000 to 2015, so Navy was really running things. Navy also holds the largest margin of victory at 51-0. Hey, Navy was beating Army down back in the 2000s to 2015, but don't sleep on Army, especially as of late. Army has really came back and has had some really good teams that actually ended the season being ranked in the top 25. The beauty of this match is it's always close. So 8 of the last 11 meetings have been decided by 1 touchdown or less. Mind you, they run those wing T's, so the score is not going to be crazy anyway. So I'm sure that year where it was 51-0, Navy must have had some crazy running backs, running quarterback. It must have been a crazy year. But these games are always close, and 8 of the last kind of shows that. Here's the beautiful statistic that people sleep on Navy and Army. So back in the day now, they have had 18 top 10 ranked matchups where both teams are ranked inside of the top 10. They've had 5 Heisman Trophy winners that played for either Navy or Army when these two teams met. And overall, of those 126 games, 45 games were decided by 7 points or less. That tells me, hey, this is a rivalry. Hey, they don't like each other. That means, hey, we gonna fight. And it's brother, actually. It's twins. It might not be big brother, little brother, because we going to throw those hands. That's below half, but that's still quite a few games where almost every game is a close game. Every once in a while, there might be a blowout. One team's better than the other, but they've had a lot of close games. Y'all ready for the top 5? Let's get into the top 5. I think the beautiful thing when we talk rivalries is there's history. And I think in the new college football with NIL and the kids getting paid, they're getting all this money, I don't know if the kids care about the history as much back in the day like when I played. The history mattered. I went to SMU, they had the death penalty. The history matter. You got to know those things. And history absolutely matters in these top 5 rivalries. I think for each and every single team, they all have had amazing teams, but the rivalries are what matter. So let's go in. At number 5, we have Notre Dame versus the USC Trojans. Listen, man. This is a game that for me, I've watched so many of these games. I remember back in the day when Brady Quinn at Notre Dame was facing off against Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. Man, there's been some good games when we talk Notre Dame versus USC. So they have actually been playing since 1926, way back in the day. And believe it or not, despite USC having some really good teams, all-time Notre Dame leads this series 50-37. So Notre Dame obviously has had some big-time wins and big players in this game, along with USC, of course. So between these two teams, 15 Heisman winners between the two teams at Notre Dame and USC. There's a lot of really good ones that I can definitely think of off the top of my head. When we talk college football running backs, Reggie Bush is definitely in the top 10, maybe even top 5 best college football running backs of all time. If you disagree, hey, we can fight. We can fight about it. We can hit about it. No, I'm just playing. But in all seriousness, great Heisman Trophy winners have played in this game. Now, as of late, Notre Dame been kind of beating USC up, so they won 8 of the last 10 meetings, and it doesn't matter where it's been played, they won 8 of 10. They also won last year when Notre Dame and USC faced off, and it's been kind of dominant in regards to when Notre Dame plays at home, they almost always win. Their record at home against USC is 28-13, so they're kind of dominating them when they play in front of Touchdown Jesus out there in Indiana at Notre Dame. However, USC is 24-20 when they play in LA, so they do fight and play a little bit better, of course, when they play out west in the Golden State in California, but they get in toe up when they go out to Indiana. Makes sense. Sometimes this game is at the end of the year. It gets cold in Indiana. Those California kids ain't used to that, but this has been a fantastic rivalry to watch. I hate in the new era of college football, they've literally gotten rid of a staple from my childhood, Notre Dame versus USC. I think this is the first time in many years that they're not going to play at all due to the new rules with the Big Ten and SEC going to the 9 conference games. Man, RIP, this was a phenomenal rivalry that I think we might not get ever again unless it's in the playoffs. At number 4, in the Deep South, we have Alabama versus Auburn. Listen, if you live under a rock, just go into YouTube after you watch this video and type in Auburn Kick 6. Man, these two teams have had phenomenal games, especially even in the Nick Saban era with how dominant Nick Saban was. The Alabama-Auburn game has always been lights out, prime time, get your popcorn ready. It's been a fun game to watch. I think back on that game when Cam Newton was at Auburn tearing up everybody in the SEC. Alabama goes up 21-0, and Cam Newton does what Cam Newton did. Came storming back all the way to get Auburn to win that game, and they went on to win the national championship. Man, there's so many other games. Even last year, this Alabama-Auburn game was really close. Auburn almost got that upset against Alabama. Both teams have crazy environments when they do play at home. So they've been playing since 1893. Of course, Alabama leads the rivalry. Alabama leads 52-37-1 all time. Between the two teams, they've had 7 Heisman Trophy winners. I'm a little bit surprised by that just because Auburn and, of course, Alabama have had some standout, really good players, but 7 Heisman trophies total. Alabama has, of course, dominated the last 10 meetings, so they've won 8 of the last 10. It's been a while. This might be the year. This might be the year where Auburn finally gets one. Maybe Alex Golesh can pull it off this year against our guy, Kalen DeBoer. I don't know, but Alabama is definitely dominating 8 of the last 10. They've had 8 total games where both teams were ranked inside of the top 10s. And here's the big stat. 30 of the 90 total games were decided by 7 points or less. So listen, that's a third. A third of every game ever played is going to be a close game. Somebody's barely going to squeak out the win, maybe a field goal, maybe a last second touchdown, maybe a kick six. We don't know. But definitely at number 4, we have Alabama versus Auburn. At number 3, we have Miami versus Florida State. Now listen, if you watch me at all, you know I'm from the crib. I'm a South Florida guy. And me being from South Florida, this has been a staple in my household. My mom went to the University of Miami. She brainwashed me. I'm going to be honest with y'all. She brainwashed me from an early age because when I was really young, I feel like when I first started watching football, I kind of like Florida State. I like the chant, all that. And my mom made it clear, hey, if you want to live here, if you want to be in this household, you don't got to love them, but you got to root for the Hurricanes. So a lot of my life, I have rooted for the Hurricanes, and this particular matchup has always been the most exciting between Miami and Florida State. I think the beauty of this particular rivalry, these guys, they haven't been playing that long, especially compared to the others. When we talk history, every other team on this list has been playing a very long time. Miami and Florida State have only been playing since 1951. Miami currently leads the series 37-33. Listen, if you've ever watched any of these rivalries, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s, if you're too young for that, don't worry. YouTube has it all. Go back and watch it. Man, wide left, all the mixed field goals. These games come down to the absolute wire. And a lot of times they've been decided by just 3 points or less, just a field goal. So between Miami and Florida State, they've had 5 Heisman Trophy winners. And I think of all the teams and games, this rivalry has been the closest. So of the last 10 games, Miami's won 5, Florida State's won 5. So you can see how split right down the middle it truly is. These teams are constantly going back and forth. It's a straight battle when the two of them play. I remember just a few years back when Florida State had its last really good season. And man, Miami came down to the wire, had an opportunity to tie that game up. These games are fun no matter if it's played in Doak Walker up in Florida State or if it's played at Hard Rock in Miami. It's always lights, camera, action, prime time. You got to tune in, get your popcorn ready. So the best time to watch Miami versus Florida State is when they are both ranked. So they've had 14 top 10 matchups when both teams are ranked inside the top 10. I think that might be the highest or tied for the highest on this list, even though these teams have not been playing each other as long as a lot of the other teams. My absolute favorite stat, listen, my absolute favorite stat, 31 games have been decided by 7 points or less. Remember, they've only been playing since 1951. You do the math. That's just a little under 50% of every single time these two teams have met up in the state of Florida. At 44.4% to be exact, it's been a close game. It's been a real fight. It's been a lace your boots up, square up. You gonna get some punches in, we gonna get some punches in. It's gonna come down to the wire. Who's gonna get the last punch? Man, this has been a fun rivalry and definitely been personal to me, one I've always tuned in for. It doesn't matter how good either team is, but it's always better when these two teams are ranked. And as you can see, almost half of every time they play, it's a close game decided by 7 points or less. Okay, here we go on the top 2. It was hard ranking these top 2 because nationally, these are the 2 games that absolutely, when you think rivalry, you think these 2 teams. At number 2, we have Texas versus OU, the Red River rivalry. Some people call it the Red River Shootout, whatever you want to call it. These 2 teams have had some amazing games, from Colt McCoy to Baker Mayfield to all the different great defensive players on either side of the ball. Man, they've had some good games. So OU and Texas have been playing since literally the 1900s. Literally the first game, not 1901, in 1900 was the first time Texas and OU played. Texas leads the series 65-51, 9 ties. So Texas has a leg up. They got a little cushion, but don't think that's an indicator because for a long time, OU dominated the Big 12 and also dominated this series. And speaking of that, so OU is 6-4 in the last 10 meetings. So they've won a little more than half of the last 10 games that they played. It speaks to definitely back in the day when Lincoln Riley was there. OU and Texas, when they lined it up, it was definitely prime time. You had to tune into that game. 9 Heisman Trophy winners between these two teams, and they've definitely had some premier Heisman Trophy winners. If we talk Sam Bradford, if we talk Ricky Williams, man, Baker Mayfield, just a ton of guys. This game definitely has so much history regarding everyone on this list. They've had great college and NFL players play in this game in Texas versus OU. And I'm glad this is one we're not going to get taken away from us because they're both in the same conference in the SEC. They've had 10 top 10 games, top 10 matchups where both teams are ranked inside of the top 10, sometimes at number 1 versus number 2, definitely back in the day. And the beautiful thing is, of the 121 times they've met, 53 games have been decided by 7 points or less. That means almost half, a little below half as well. Every single time they play it, dang near 1 out of 2 times, it's going to be a close game. They go lining up, and it's going to be something that is fun to watch. So many good teams, so many great coaches have come through these two franchises. Texas and OU at number 2. Are you ready for number 1? My favorite thing about this number 1 game is the game. It's called the game. Yes, at number 1. If you live under a rock, no worries, I got you. Number 1, Ohio State versus Michigan, the game. Listen, there's no way I could have put this as the number 1 rivalry in the whole entire college football. They take different level extremes. So I don't know if you've ever been to Columbus. I've been to Columbus. And when Ohio State plays Michigan, anything that has an M on it, on buildings, they X out the M. That's how serious this rivalry is. That's how deeply and how much hate these two teams have for each other. There's been so many great players, too many to name. Just some that pop right into my head: Braxton Miller, Terrell Pryor on the Ohio State side, Denard Robinson at Michigan, Mike Hart. Man, both teams have had so many great players for a long time. The list is too long to talk about. But the game has been being played since 1897. Tons of history, tons of top matchups within this game. Believe it or not, Michigan actually leads the series. So Michigan leads 52-53 with 6 ties. They've had 10 Heisman Trophy winners between these two teams, and I think they're going to continue to have more. Who knows? This year, both teams are going to have some good players. Who knows if we could see Bryce Underwood win the Heisman, or Jeremiah Smith, or Julian Sayin this year coming up in the 2026 season. Ohio State has been leading the series as of late, so they're 6-4 in the last 10 games. But don't forget, Michigan won 4 straight under John Harbaugh. So who knows what's going to happen with the new regiment with Kyle Whittingham coming in now at the University of Michigan. Here's the thing that really has them cemented at number 1. They've had 26 top 10 ranked matchups where both teams were ranked inside the top 10. I remember vividly multiple games when Ohio State was 1, Michigan was 2, especially back in the BCS era. Due to them being in the same conference, they've never played in a Big Ten title because whoever wins that game is usually in the Big Ten title, right? So that means not only, let's say both teams have been undefeated, it's happened many times, and they play, you're hurting all the rest of the way because then you got to see your rival, your hated rival, go play in the Big Ten and maybe go play in the national championship. It's happened many times. They've also had a whole bunch of close games. So when we talk close games, 43 games have been decided by 7 points or less. Ohio State has 20. Michigan has 17. That's how close this rivalry is. They're having close games, but even when they're having close games, one team's not dominating when it comes down to the wire. It's pretty much about the same thing. The game has always been fun to watch. I can't wait to watch it this year. Yeah, there's been some blowouts here and there. When you play that many times for over 100 years, you're going to have some games that ain't close, and you're going to have some teams that are clearly better than the other. But at number 1, Ohio State versus Michigan. Hey, let me know, what do you think of the list? Did I miss anybody in the top 5? This is a list I'm confident in. I can't think of others that could have made it in here. Yeah, you got Georgia, Florida, and you got some of the other really good games. But when we talk history and how many close games, top 10 matchups, this list, this top 5 is really it. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Daniel Roundtree got the football show.